Kansas State. They started off the season 7-11. They were at one point were 1-6 in the Big 12, and now they are sitting here above 500 and right on the outside of the bubble. I was texting with our Rocco Miller, our bracketologist.
How close are they?
And he said that they're probably in like the next 4 out kind of a range right now. But
next 4 out.
Not climbing. They beat the top 10.
So they're in that top like 8.
Yes. Yeah. In 3 of their last 4 games, they have beaten top 10 teams. One of them was on the road by 19 points at Iowa State. Randolph, what is that? Is this just as simple as Doug McDaniel has turned into Dougie McDaniel? Is that all that's happened here?
I don't know what the hell is going on there. They're playing out of their minds. You got to give them that. They're winning games. They're playing out of their mind lately. But I'm like Jeff. I thought it was over. It was kind of like they're just playing spoiler, and then now they're putting themselves in position with their wins to get back into the dance. Like, what's the number? What would be the metrics for them to get in? I mean, but they've got the quality wins now, but they still got to win some more games to get back in. They're getting hot at the right time. I thought they dug themselves in a massive hole and they couldn't get out of it, but they proved me wrong.
Yeah, I didn't think that. Not only could they not get out of the hole, I did not see him finding a way to turn this around. That's been the most impressive part to me.
So I took a call on January 24th. It was a Friday afternoon, and Jerome Tang called me. And we were talking about just kind of the season and everything. And I'm like, man, like this is brutal, right? They had just lost 6 straight. And he says to me, and he's super positive all the time anyway. He says to me, he's like, I really feel good about this. And I'm just thinking, like, we got off the phone, and I'm like, come on, cut the shit. Like, cut the crap, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, and they go out and they flip this thing. And I think he felt like, and what he told me in that call was, I'm going to play the guys that are going to play the way Kansas State basketball needs to be played. Right? I'm going to play the guys that play with pride, that play hard, forget about – now, they found a way to get Doug McDaniel going because, let's face it, early in the season it wasn't working with Doug McDaniel in Kansas State more mentally than anything. More mentally. We knew he had the ability. That's never been a question with Doug McDaniel, but now you get him going, and it creates so many opportunities for everybody else because of the pressure he can put on the defense and really the pressure he could put on the offense from the defensive end. Like he's a game changer when his head is on straight.
Yeah, I should have mentioned it, but the final score tonight against Arizona was 73-70. Doug McDaniel, 24 points, 3 assists, 5 steals. Coleman didn't have his best game. Kansas State shot 1 for 19 from 3, but David Gasson had 16 and 7. They held Caleb Love to 3 of 15 from the floor. But to me, the biggest thing, Randolph, is that if you look at what Jerome Tang wants, right, when he's had his best teams, and I think you could even make the argument, if you look at who he's kind of targeted in the portal and pulled out of the portal in recent years, Tyler Perry specifically last year, he wants that little guard that could get into the lane whenever they want, that could also make threes and space the floor. And he wants a guy on the wing, if it's a big wing, if it's a 4, if it's a combo 4, whatever it is, someone that can go out there and get buckets and kind of wreck stuff on the defensive end. And I think that what you're starting to see is Doug McDaniel embracing that role as the point guard and Coleman Hawkins turning into the guy that is your do-it-all. Like, he's averaging, what is it? I think it's 13, 6 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks before tonight in the last 5 during this win streak. Turning him into that player and Doug McDaniel into this player, that's what we thought they were getting back in April and back in May.
You know what he reminds me of for their squad in the previous times was the Ishmael kid, the big forward that stretches you, that I need you in big moments to knock down shots. That's what Coleman Hawkins reminds me of playing for him. And you're right, Dougie is a problem. And when he wants to get into the ball, he can be a Zakai Ziegler type of point guard, small point guard, get in the paint, disruptive on the ball when he wants to be. Again, this team was 1-6, Rob, and they found a way to win, like you said, shooting 1 of 19. And this game wasn't pretty. I mean, hell, Arizona was only 2 for 22. They were combined 3 for 41 behind the three-point line. So it looked at times, I mean, but the pace of the game, the way both teams played with style and pace, made it entertaining. Caleb Love, I thought, took a step back. He had elevated his play, was playing really consistent, and struggled here tonight. But again, this is what about Kansas State, and I'm sitting here watching because I can't believe how they've just resurrected their season. I thought they were dead and gone and kind of turned the page and didn't even think about them going. And now you're talking about a team that can really jump up because of the opportunities that they have in the games that they won. They can steal a bid from someone.
I mean, they got 2 coming up, right, at BYU, at Utah, both winnable games. But can they sustain this against 2 teams?
It's not just they're not just winnable games. They're winnable games that are resume games, right? BYU is going to be a quad 1 win if they win there.
Yeah.
I think Utah would probably be a quad 2, but it's right there on the borderline of being a quad 1 win. And those, if you win those 2, and look,
you're
that's
probably on the right side of the bubble.
That's harder said than done.
Right. Yep.
Like BYU, there's 22,000 people that are going to be losing their minds in that building. Okay, and they got a top 5 pick on their roster in Agor Devin. So that's not going to be an easy win. But if you get those 2, Randolph, then instead of just kind of saying hypothetically, oh, wow, isn't this cool? Kansas State got themselves in the bubble picture. Like, you're dancing. Like, you're in the you're on the right side of the bubble. And, I mean, they won at Iowa State.
I mean, at least you're playing for something now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're playing for something.
Bro, they got 4 top 10 wins, top 15 wins, right? They got 4 wins over ranked opponents in the top 10. So this isn't top 15. Like, they're going to be – they got those wins. They just need to get enough wins to stack to get as close as they can. They got the resume tournament wins enough. They got enough quad 1 wins already. They just need to finish the job and try to close out the year.
You know, I think what is really interesting too is that when we were out there in September, one of the things that they were trying to do in practice was work Coleman Hawkins in as a wing, get him to play the 3. Like, that's what it was. Like, we got a Shore, we got a Ghana and Yenso coming in. We got these big guys. Coleman's going to be our 3. He's going to be our big wing.
Remember what we said.
And tonight Coleman played 38 minutes.
Yep.
Didn't play well, but played 38 minutes and played 15 of those minutes as the 5. Right? They're using him as a 4 and a 5, and that is where he is the most effective, especially when you can put him next to David Gasson, who is like your super athletic stretch 4. Listen, we're going to be here for the afters for the people listening on SiriusXM. Come over to the YouTube channel. We're going to answer some questions in the chat. We still